collegefootballnerds.com. Got a quick teaser trailer discussion of a almost hour-long talk we had with RJ Young over on his channel. He was kind enough to talk to us last week. This is the return trip from the hour-long discussion he had on our channel. So if you're interested in Texas, Oklahoma, is Texas back? How good is the Big 12 in the national landscape? Make sure you check out that video. The link is in the description. And when you go over there, because I know you will, because RJ's awesome and you want to hear us too, make sure you subscribe while you're over there, because the guy gets down and dirty every day on college football. Yes, it has an Oklahoma slant, but it's also, you know what, the guy is just knowledgeable about college football in general, so you're going to want to keep him on your subscribe list. So without further ado, here's a quick few minutes from that discussion. If you want to hear the rest of it, you can check it out on his channel. Also, we might have an audio version posted later on our podcast. If you haven't subscribed already, we're College Football Nerds, iTunes, and Android. Thanks so much, y'all. Have a great week. God bless. Here we go.
Today, I'm going to talk with college football nerds Daniel and Josh on the YouTube channel College Football Nerds about, is Texas any good? Is the Big 12 any good? And what would it take for any other conference to challenge the SEC? And all that's coming up after the bump.
Come on back. You got plenty. Backer. More backer.
I think my wheels are spinning.
Damn it, keep it coming. Come on.
All right, here it comes.
Come on, you still got this much. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Whoa. What the hell? I said you was close, damn Leadfoot.
What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill.
Or on a step mill.
See, there he is, right there. No, I was on a step mill to start this show. That's how we got here. It's Daniel. Josh is going to climb in here in just a second. But if you've seen me on their YouTube channel talking about how to get Oklahoma over the hump, you can see that we had a lot of fun. Went on for like an hour. And in this home and home, they are returning the favor to answer my burning questions. The first of which is, hey, fellas, as the Squidbillies joke that Daniel sent me, is Texas more backer? I'm sorry, I'm still laughing about that. More backer, more backer, more backer. Josh, what do you got?
I think the question whenever you bring up Texas is, one, what are they back to? And two, are they going to be really more back than they were last year, right? I mean, it's not like they had a bad year last season. Anytime that you're playing in a major bowl game, anytime you're playing at a BCS bowl, you've gotten to pretty good heights. And so it's kind of the inverse of the discussion we had previously when we were on our show. We're talking about Oklahoma, about getting over the hump with Oklahoma. And the thing I kind of posited about that was, okay, what's the hump? And if the hump is you've got to beat Alabama or Clemson when Alabama and Clemson are operating at a, not even every year do you have teams at the level statistically that they were last year, maybe it's a little unrealistic to expect them to get over that hump because they're still in the playoff. And in Texas's case, our argument for what Texas is in terms of, Texas being back is apparently better than the team that won the Sugar Bowl. So apparently that wasn't Texas back to a certain extent, right? The question is now, I guess, one, are they going to be in the Sugar Bowl every year? But that's really not what people are asking. What people are asking is, will Texas be in the playoff? Will Texas win the national title? Texas had a lot of things going for them last season. They kind of had an up and down year. Obviously, beating Oklahoma in the regular season was good. I think losing to Maryland would probably be classified as bad. And you take those two things together, and you got a really good season, but maybe not one that was sort of what you'd want to aspire to, right? So I think if you're Texas, you've got to be happy with last year. I think if you throw out that one Maryland game, it was a very good season. Still probably, not going to be good enough to get into the playoff. Losing to Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game, even if you beat them in the regular season. A lot of jokes about your Big 12 championship game and its structure there, but let's not get into that. But the reality of it is, Texas returned a lot of guys from the year prior. I mean, they had a good team. They had a lot of pieces offensively. They had some guys step up. Obviously, Ellinger was a good quarterback. We're probably going to get in later how good really means from that perspective. But they had a lot of players return. And, 6 of 9 leading tacklers on the team came back last season. It was 9 of 15 overall defensively, but 6 of 9 leading tacklers. But this year they're going to lose 6 of 9. So it's kind of the inverse, right? You know, when you're returning only 4 of 12 leading tacklers on the team, 8 of 12 are going to be departing from last year. I'm not sure that means Texas is going to be bad. Maybe they're back in the sense that they're an 8 to 10 win team. Now, quick aside there, 10 wins doesn't mean a whole lot in the modern era of football. And we've talked about this a lot on our channel.
Wait, I need to check that because that number's magical to most college football fans, not just Texas fans or OU fans or Alabama fans. Getting to double digits is a big deal to anecdotally, kind of like getting to 20 wins for pitchers is not the big deal that it is analytically that it seems to be anecdotally to us.
Right. And where I'm getting with that is, you know, it actually wasn't true in its entirety last season. But if you go back a lot of years, we're averaging more than 25 teams with 10 wins in a given season. You know, we added, I think it was, 2015, we added the 12th regular season game. And maybe a little earlier than that. My mind's drawing a blank. But when we added that extra game, that makes a really significant difference. If you think about what used to be a 9-win season, well, now when we added a 10th game, you didn't add a hard game. No one changed their schedule in such a way to add a USC to their schedule. What they did is they added another, quote, cupcake. All the SEC teams.
It's ironic since Texas played USC last year, but continue.
Well, I mean,
Notre Dame played USC last year.
Well, Notre Dame, yeah. So, and I like where Josh is going with this. I think there's some concrete evidence. At least there's probably an SEC joke buried in there in terms of out-of-conference scheduling or extra game scheduling. But we did add – so 10 games has historically bolstered a season that has for a long time, for many decades, was an 11-game season with no conference championship.
Right.
But let's look at Ohio State next year. And this is an aberration. I'm not pounding on Ohio State because they do schedule out of conference pretty well, but this year is just a little weird. Their big out of conference game is Cincinnati. They will not play a ranked opponent until Penn State November 23rd. They're going to open the season with 10 straight unranked opponents, and that's if Penn State is good. So that means the best top 3 or 4 team in the country in terms of talent, development, coaching, facilities, and everything won't play a top 40 team until maybe their last game of the season. So for a lot of teams, winning 10 games is, you know, it's kind of baked in because of how there's so little parity from the top and the bottom.